Good morning, it's 9 a.m. Today is Sunday, the 29th of March 2020. My name is Sabata. On behalf of the EQUATORIA Advocacy Foundation, happy Sunday. My prayer to all on this issue of the coronavirus that's going on. It's hard. My prayer to the whole world as this coronavirus has really hit hard everywhere. Today I am going to discuss with you a document that's going around, and this document is produced by Honorable Oyet Nathaniel Puerino, member of the National Constitution Amendment Committee, SPLM SPLA-IO, and it's copied to the chairman of the National Constitutional Amendment Committee. I thought he was the chairman of the Constitutional Committee of the Amendment, but I don't know, that's what's written. And this document, well, he has submitted it to the H.E. Dr. Riek Machar Tenyi, PhD, first Vice President of the Republic of South Sudan, and Chairman, of course, and Commander-in-Chief of the SPLM SPLA-IO. What is it that I'm going to discuss in this document? Because he has alleged certain things in this document that if these things are true, then we do not have what is called a government that is fit to be called transitional during this transitional period. What is called the interim transitional government of national interim transitional government of national unity right now is absent if these allegations are true. Why? Because basically what Puerino Oyet Natalia has alleged here is there has been some changes on the provisions of the agreements that were signed around September 2018. That is the revitalized RCs. Remember, the revitalized RCs had to undergo a forum where they had to make certain amendments because it didn't work in 2016. So those amendments, those provisions in the amendments that were done, according to Oyet, when those amendments were done and then signed, and of course those provisions eventually had to be amalgamated into what is called then the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan 2011, so that it becomes a working document. Okay, so according to him, he is saying that some provisions have been changed in the process of amalgamating the provisions into what is called the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan. And here's the thing. I would like to put this footnote before I get into discussing this. Political agreements are basically treated as contracts. They are contracts because contracts are agreements. And contracts are governed by laws. Contracts are not just, agreement between you and I. No, there are contracts that are governed by law. That is why if you go to a dealer, if you go to to rent an apartment or to buy a house, you go through what is called signing an agreement. And those agreements are binding, and those agreements are governed by certain laws. One party, once you sign an agreement, you cannot go and then make changes to those agreements without the other party. No, you have to all come back, or else once you do that, that agreement is completely will be nullified in the court of law in every country. But given South Sudan, of course, don't have clear laws that basically governs the nation, including, of course, contracts that get signed by people in that nation. So then what is called the international contract eventually, which is not any different with the contracts that are governing all the nations, will eventually be used in determining the legitimacy of that contract. You know, given the fact that the contract was binding between the IO, IG, and the SOA, none of this group can alter or make changes on the terms of that contract without the other. Otherwise, once that happens, that contract or that agreement is supposed to be nullified in the Western standards. But it looks like this is what Oyet is now saying here, that when that agreement was signed in 2018, the terms were certain things. Now, through a certain process, those provisions eventually were amalgamated into what is called the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan, because it has to become a working document, because during this transitional period, and that is all, that constitutes what is called government. Okay, it becomes a working document. And according to Oyet, he is saying that those provisions were changed at the time or during the process of amalgamating it into the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan. Some of the provisions were changed. And then he gave about 8, he outlined 8 here. Wow, I don't know if you can see that well because of the reflection of the light. I don't know if you can see very well. Oh no. Yeah, you cannot, you can hardly see, but yeah, well, at least you can see up there. This is what Oyet has written to Dr. Riek Machar, and this is his signature down here. You see here? So what I would like to just hint to you is that I would like to go through the changes. Maybe I will go the first, the second, and the third. I think these ones are very important. The rest, if I were Oyet, I wouldn't even include them, because they are not that worthy of discussing even. But the first, well, let me quickly just state what Oyet has actually written here. He said, "I'm writing with grave concerns over the changes introduced by Interim Transitional Government of National Unity, a party to the agreement, into the Constitution Amendment Bill 2020." All right, because those provisions that were signed eventually through a process was going to be put into what is called the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan. So those provisions by themselves that were signed, those provisions that were signed in 12th of September 2018, it became what is called they gave a name here, CAB. That is Constitutional Amendment Bill. It became what is called a Constitutional Amendment Bill, all right? And it was signed into law on the 19th February 2020 by the President, Salva Kiir. So those provisions became law. That is according to what this document here is saying. So, and of course, according to what this document, the document is basically, or Oyet is basically making the argument that those Constitutional Amendment Bill provisions were altered. Of course, they cannot be altered by only one party who was engaged in the forum for the revitalization of the resolution of the conflict of South Sudan. It has to be all the parties to be included, and then through a process, some of those terms will be altered. Now, let me quickly read what he is saying here. He is saying, "I'm writing with grave concerns over the changes introduced by Interim Transitional Government of National Unity, a party of the agreement into the Constitution Amendment Bill 2020. The NCAC, that is the National Constitutional Amendment Committee, pursuant to Article 1.18, has incorporated the agreement. Of course, this is the agreement that was signed in 12th September 2018, into the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan 2011, that is the constitution of the country, as amended, and produced a bill which was signed into law on the 19th February 2020 by the President of the Republic of South Sudan. Okay, so those provisions became law. Now, the NCAC, which is the National Constitutional Amendment Committee, has also completed amendment of the SPLA Act 2009, the National Security Act 2014, the Police Service Act 2009, the Prison Service Act 2011, the Wildlife Service Act 2011, Political Parties Act 2012, and drafted the Fire Brigade Service Bill 2019. We have noted, however, that out of 124 amendments in the Constitutional Amendment Bill, CAB, number 6, 2020, the Interim Transitional Government of National Unity, deleted, modified, and then inserted some new provision therein, and thus made the following changes. 1. Amendment number 6 in the bill, that is CAB, Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020, page 10, Article 3, Provision 5, or just in bracket 5, of the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan 2011 as amended. What was it regarding? It was regarding the supremacy of the Constitution, okay, pursuant to Article 8.224 of the revitalized RCs, has been deleted from the Act to omit the supremacy of the agreement. So what does that mean? That means, the agreement, the terms of the revitalized RCs is supposed to be supreme, okay? If there are terms in the revitalized RCs, that is the provisions that were signed in September 12th, 2018, if there are provisions there that overlaps with certain provisions within the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan 2011, the provisions of the revitalized RCs that was signed in no, it wasn't signed on the 12th. It was actually, yeah, it was signed on the 12th of September 2018. That is the revitalized RCs. Those provisions are supposed to be supreme. They are on top of these provisions of the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan 2011, because this becomes the governing documents. Okay, and this brings the essence of what is called agreement, because what has been signed here has been signed by IO, IG, SOA, right? And these are the three authorities right now running what is called the Interim Transitional Government of National Unity. So basically what Natalia Oyet is saying is that the provision that makes these provisions here supreme has been taken out. So that means this is no longer supreme. Okay, the way it is amalgamated into the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan, that means the agreement is no longer supreme. It has been brought out. So if it is not supreme right now, so what is left? So we do not have right now, with that changes by itself, we do not have a government of national unity that comprises of IG, SOA, and IO that stands to be supreme. That is collusion of these three, making a government and having what they have agreed upon to stand as a government. At this point, we don't have it. We are back to what is called square one. We are in a situation where, as though this agreement has not existed. That's it. That is changes number 1 in Amendment 6, according to Oyet. Okay, that is Amendment 6, Article 3, Provision 5. Now Oyet is also saying in number 2. This is, I'm going to start reading number 2 here. Amendment 6, Article 3, 6. See what the changes are here. Amendment number 6 in the bill, all right, CUB 2020, page 10, Article 3, Provision 6 of the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan 2011 as amended. Regarding what? The procedure of incorporating the agreement into Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan 2011 as amended pursuant to Article 1.18, 6 to 8 of the revitalized RCs has been modified, means it has been changed, the languages, so that the meaning of it does not bring the essence of what was discussed and agreed upon in the act to do what? To automatically extend the life and composition of the ITGoNU legislature. So what is that saying? That is basically saying that Amendment number 6, Article 3, Provision 6, that has been modified. It has been changed such that now the language at the time now it is getting amalgamated into the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan, so that it becomes a working document. The time for what is called the Legislative Assembly members have been extended. So that means the structure is no longer what is called interim, that is, or transitional, that is something that will change. No, it is now permanent. It is going to go like that, even though we are going to go through what is called permanent constitution. When, you know, remember, we are supposed to be in what is called transitional time now. But right now, according to these changes, so even if we finish up the transitional period and we are supposed to be going to the permanent period, this legislative structure is not going to change. Could it be because those who have changed it felt as though they have benefits of the seats, they have more in the seats, and they will always outwin arguments, even with the absence of the others? You know, you remember there are seats given to the IG, to the IO, and to the SOA, and IG has most of the seats, and based on the what is called quorum, IG can, so long as they are all in the assembly, they can pass resolutions even though the others are not even present, based on what is called quorum. Quorum means the accepted amount of people who can actually pass a legislation. Based on that quorum, IG can pass legislation even in the absence of the other guys. So I think they like it. That's why they want to make it not to remain something that is transitional or interim. They want it to be permanent. That is why they changed the language here, so that they have extended the life and composition of the ITGoNU legislature, okay, to be more of something that is of lifetime. That is as long as that constitution exists, it is going to continue like that, so that when we are passing from the transitional to the permanent period, it is going to remain the law. The third amendment, number 30. Amendment, you can see from number 3, Article 87 of the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan 2011. What does it say? That regarding consultative powers in the presidency to initiate constitutional amendments, legislations, and institutional reforms pursuant to Article 1.9.4 of revitalized RCs has been deleted from the Act to ensure that the Vice President and the 4 Vice Presidents do not initiate any legislations and institutional reforms. What this is basically saying is that the language that was initially expressed that gave the first Vice President and the 4 Presidents of the Republic of Sudan the power to initiate legislation and reforms has been taken out. So right now, what has been amalgamated into what is called the Transitional Constitution for the Republic of South Sudan 2011 is a provision that has already removed the power of the first Vice President and the 4 Presidents not to initiate legislation and provide any reforms. What does that mean, brothers and sisters, or people of South Sudan? That means clearly the first Vice President and the 4 Presidents are just going to be pretty much choirs of the President. They cannot initiate any legislation. They cannot initiate any reform. Brothers and sisters, the changes are many. It goes all the way to 8. I don't think it's worth discussing all this with time. You are going to come across it because it is something that's already posted out there. But what is crucial about it, you know, it's already posted out there. You're going to come across it. But what is crucial about such kind of changes? Such kind of changes actually negates the legitimacy of what is called an agreement. It takes away the legitimacy of what is called an agreement, because once you have had an agreement signed between parties, those agreements are not supposed to be changed in the absence of the other parties who have signed the agreements. That is, in the Western standard, it is called fraud. And I know very well that in South Sudan, we do not have laws of the land so far, not even laws that would govern contracts, leave alone laws that will govern human beings, but there are no laws that will govern contracts, okay? So basically, these contracts, if it's to be measured in what is called universal law, that is used even in international law, it is nullified. It should be nullified. It should be treated as though it did not exist. In other words, for something like that to continue, the SOA, the IO, and the IG will all have to come back to a table and reconstruct the whole thing again. Because what IG has done, or some group within the government, what they have done, making some changes in those terms, takes the essence of a legitimate agreement out. Brothers and sisters, I'm not here to argue whether there is an agreement or not. But the most important thing is to understand why such kind of behaviors are initiated to begin with. Such kind of behaviors are initiated because there are some people within South Sudan who do not want to share power. They want to control power. My brothers and sisters, I want you guys to open your eyes. In South Sudan, there are elites who are trying to build a kingdom. They don't want to build what is called a state in a nation. We are not heading towards building what is called a nation state. Nation here means the collection of the people, and then the state means the institutional government that is going to coordinate people's lives and organize people politically. This is what is nation state. And remember, as far as when you look at what is called nation by itself, we are a diverse nation. We are people of different social groups. Dinka, Nuer, Kakwa, Madi, Pojulu, Zande, all those. These are different social groups who have different values, norms, cultural beliefs, and all those. We are supposed to have a state, which is what is called the governing institution, that will be able to coordinate lives of these people and pretty much also coordinate the diversity, all right? And through careful policies, build nationalism amongst these people carefully, but not manipulate politics here and there to build something that is more like a kingdom. And if South Sudanese are not careful, this is what we might end up seeing from the current regime. My brothers and sisters, my advice is this: be careful, or else you might be seeing a kingdom getting built in South Sudan. And at the end of the day, you might be one of the groups that's going to be in the marginalized side. And when you are there, you might not have much to do but to live on your knees as another social group would be benefiting from the powers that the state will be asserting. As far as solutions are concerned, brothers and sisters, if you are not happy, you have what is called the Soma group, who are out there, who are talking about this all the time. Look unto them, reach them, put your hopes to them, but don't only put your hopes to them, support them by all means necessary, so that they are the only ones who can create some changes at this point. Because right now, the rest of the people are screwed. Even the IO who are believed to also be an organization that could bring changes are inside there, and looks to be like they are screwed right now, because whatever agreements they are signed are now altered and then amalgamated into what is called transitional constitution for the Republic of South Sudan. What kind of changes are they going to be introducing? There's going to be nothing that they can do. You see, a couple of days ago, I gave what is called benefit of the doubts to the fact that the Minister of Defense, Angelina, might be able to reform the military sector. But with the developments that I'm seeing, with that document that is already being published, and with the fact that also there is a committee that's being formed in which Angelina is not even the chairman, that is the chairman of the, the Minister of Defense, it's not even the chairman. Instead, the chairman is Tut Galwak, and then somebody by the name of, I think, Manik Ai is the deputy, and then Parkwal, the secretary of a committee that is supposed to be carrying out the responsibility of the security arrangement. I've already lost trust on the fact that there is any good faith to bring any reform. No, I think the elites who are running or holding power in South Sudan are trying to maintain the status quo and pretty much build a form of a kingdom in which not all the diverse social groups in South Sudan are going to benefit and live comfortably in, but maybe only some few people, social groups who are going to do that. This is very important. That's why you might want to put your support to the SOMA and see exactly through that organization. Give out your views as to what kind of a nation you want, what kind of a policy you want to initiate as a social contract with your state, to see into it that we all in the country live to get what is called benefits from the resources of the country equally, and share what is called equal rights. All right, and if that fails, of course, if SOMA is not able to bring those reforms, you might want to rally behind the idea that the country should be taken out for trusteeship. It should be labeled out for trusteeship as a trusteeship territory, and let the United Nations identify some group of countries that will eventually take responsibility of the state and install order in that country. Thank you very much, and God bless you. I hope you will take this message seriously, and until we meet again in another session, stay blessed and stay home because of the coronavirus. God bless you.